Hello, everyone. Welcome back. I was just with you just a few minutes ago to do our weekly astrology forecast. And now we are here this morning again to go over the full moon in Gemini. Before we get started, I do want to just smudge a little bit, even though I just actually did it, but that's okay. We'll do it again. So I hope everybody had a good holiday. Got to spend some time with some family or friends, loved ones. Or if you prefer, you had quiet time and got to sit and enjoy and do nothing, if that's what you preferred. But whatever it is that you were hoping for, I hope you got it. All right, so let's go ahead and hop right in here. I'm going to go through this kind of quickly. I have an appointment later on this afternoon, so I want to make sure that I have wrapped up the video before my appointment gets here. So, all right, so we are here today to talk about full moon in Gemini. And so the number one thing, if I had to pick something to say was like the theme of this full moon, it would be focus, I guess. Focus. But again, I usually so hard to pick just one. I usually pick three. Focus, patience, and being open-minded. Okay, there's my three. I can't do just one. So, anywho, let's get into this. All right. So, we have the full moon in Gemini. And we know Gemini are the the wisdom seekers, the question askers, one of the things that when I was looking at archetypes, which we'll talk about that in a few minutes, but one of the things that came up for archetypes was the student. And that really fits pretty well. Like they are constantly wanting to know things. They are constantly asking why, when, how come. So the student fits pretty well. That's not the one I picked. We'll talk about that again, like I said, in a minute. But that's a pretty accurate, I think, description of a Gemini as a student. They're always like, pick me. And they're always asking the questions and wanting to know the answers. So not that today's students do that, but anywho. So kind of the knowledge seekers, the question askers. And so hopefully as I go along, this will all tie in for you. So the moon is also opposite Mars. It's also square to Saturn. And Mercury is also squared to Neptune right now. So there's a lot going on. Lots of stuff involved there, right? So we've got the moon, we've got Gemini, we've got Mars, we've got Saturn, we've got Mercury, we've got Neptune. Like there's a lot going on there, right? So what does that all mean? So I'm going to try to break it down for you a little bit and see, again, hopefully all of this will kind of make sense. And, again, this isn't going to probably be one of the more pleasant full moons that we are going to have. It's going to be a challenging one for us. Full moon energy, new moon and full moon energy has a kind of peak of about a 3-day window. So yesterday, today, and tomorrow will be like the peak of the full moon energy. But with that said, the full moon energy is basically going to kind of set the tone for the next 14 days till the new moon. So those energies are kind of like they're at their peak for the 3 days, but they're kind of going to follow through till the next new moon. It's not going to be like it's full moons today. The energies are done. We're good. We're moving on. They will linger for the 14 days till the next moon event. So, anywho, It could be challenging is where I'm going for the next couple of weeks. So again, don't freak out. I don't tell you that to freak you out. Although I do worry about that. I'm like, oh, I don't want to tell them that. But I do feel it's important that you know it so that you are mentally prepared for what might be happening around you. These people that just sugarcoat everything and make everything butterfly and rainbows, I don't think really prepares you for the energies that might be coming along. So I'm not going to sugarcoat it, but I'm also going to tell you that I do believe it's for a reason. These are lessons that we're going to learn. And if we learn them in the end, we will come out better in one way, shape, form, whatever. Okay. So let's start with the moon opposite Mars. So Mars is our planet of war, right? It's all about taking. Venus is about giving and loving. Mars is about war and taking. So moon opposite Mars is going to possibly bring irritability, anger, frustration, not necessarily pleasant emotions, right? So one of the ways that we can work through that is by some physical activity. So maybe you go jogging, maybe you punch a punching bag, maybe you just go for a brisk walk, have sex, whatever, snow's falling off my roof and it's making thumping noises. I'm not in danger. It's if you hear it, although sometimes it makes me look. So, so just do some sort of physical activity that is going to burn through that energy for you, or help burn through that energy for you. Use it in a productive way. Channel it somewhere, right? Don't just sit with it and let it keep brewing and bubbling until it boils over. So if you're feeling that irritability, you're feeling a little volatile, anger, whatever it may be today, again, over the next week or two, try to, once you realize that, right? And that's one of the key things is like, okay, I'm really feeling like I woke up this morning and I'm just in a pissy mood, right? What can I do so that I don't take that out on my family, my friends, my coworkers, right? And if you do, again, you're human. We apologize. We own our shit, right? We own up to it. And we also have to remember that everybody else is feeling all these energies. So if we're waking up angry and pissy, so are our coworkers, so are our partners, so are our kids, our family members. You see where I'm going with that? It could be a little challenging. So again, like us being informed and being aware of it, we can kind of step back and go, okay, this is what I'm feeling. And I know this is not normally how I would feel, and I'm going to try to just step back and kind of like take a breath and recenter. And we can also, when somebody else is being angry and irritable and volatile, we can step back from that too and be like, okay, this person is not normally like this. I'm going to let this kind of go. I'm not going to make a big deal out of it. I'm not going to like make a scene. I'm not going to argue back, whatever. You can kind of be like, I'm just going to let that go and walk away. And, so again, being aware makes a big deal. Again, that's where like our patience and our open-minded and our focus, like to be like, okay, I know what's going on here. Like I see this, I understand this, and I know what I need to do to deal with this. So again, working through that energy that might be coming up for you. Do something that's just going to like punch a pillow if you have to, go outside and scream. I don't recommend that if you live in a neighborhood that's got like a lot of people in it and whatnot, but or if you're in the car on the freeway, whatever, like just do some primal screaming, like just let that shit out, right? So do what you got to do. So that is the moon opposite Mars. So again, gonna bring some emotions that were probably not super pleasant. Okay. So then we're going to move over to the moon squared Saturn. So this is going to bring us some more challenges. And again, not great. This is going to bring it a little bit harder for us to empathize. So that patience and that kindness and that empathy that might help us get through the irritability and the anger is going to kind of be restricted as well. So double whammy, right? So really, again, being focused on I know this is what is happening. I know this is the energies around me, and I know what I need to do to work through this. Because knowledge is cliche, but knowledge is power. It's going to help you get through this challenging time. So again, it's going to be a little hard to empathize. You may be more into you might be feeling shame. You might be feeling loss, grief. Those types of things might be coming to the surface. And again, I know this isn't pleasant, right? So there might be self-blame that might be going on. And this is where, again, hopefully this will help somebody. If you are somebody who deals with those things by compensating with something else, alcohol, drugs, food, shopping, sex, whatever it is, you need to be aware that these next couple of weeks can be challenging for you, and that you need to have set up your support system, whatever that might look like for you. If it's an AA partner or a counselor or a buddy, a coach, whatever it might look like for you, it could be challenging, right? So yeah. Okay. So again, and if you are someone who knows someone who tends to fit into that category, try to reach out to them and be supportive to them. Again, send them a Christmas card, bake them some cookies. You don't have to have them move in with you for 2 weeks. But little acts of kindness can make a really big difference in someone's life. And this on top of holidays, when people are feeling loss and grief, and family things are coming up, and who knows, a million different scenarios could be going on for people. Getting stuck in that those emotions is going to be tricky. So if you are someone who has that tendency, set up your support system. If you know somebody who tends to be in that category, reach out to them and let them know you're part of their support system. Like, we're here to help. Like, what do you need? If you need someone to talk to, come over and talk to me. Whatever that might be, look like for you. But again, you yourself could be feeling shame, loss, grief, self-blame on top of the Mars energy of irritable and angry. We're making a stew and it's not a good one. So let's keep going. I know I part of me didn't even want to do this video, but I was like, this is what I tell them, is that knowing is gonna help. So all right, so then we're going over to Saturn and Mars squared. So we covered Moon opposite Mars. We covered Moon square to Saturn. Now we're talking about Mars square to Saturn. Not that it really makes a big difference, but just to be clear. Is going to bring frustration on top of all that crap. Yeah. So, yeah. So you might be feeling like you're being blocked in some way. Someone's blocking you, something's blocking you, finances are blocking you, time is blocking you, kind of the whole something's fault, right? Something is blocking you. Something's making you frustrated on top of all this other stuff that we're going to be feeling. So, yeah. So, just be aware again that that's the energy that's going to be around. Try not to let your frustration take over. Try not to get an attitude. Try not to be bullying people. Or on the reverse side, try not to be too hard on yourself. Like I said, focus on what you know is going to be important. And then patience and being open-minded. So yeah, it's going to be important to be doing our self-care. It's going to be important to be doing our grounding. It's going to be important to do whatever it is that you need to come back to center. If it's meditating, if it's jogging, if it's walking in the woods, if it's cooking, planting vegetables, plants, whatever it is that is going to help you stay centered and grounded, make sure you're going to be doing that, okay? All right. And then we're also going to throw in the last little bit of Mercury squared to Neptune. Yep. So this is going to bring confusion, disorientation, miscommunications. I don't even know. So it's important, again, the things we've talked about in the past when Mercury is involved, that we're using our words wisely, that we are being clear and concise, that we're not using trigger words. You can say what you want to say without it being aggressive or mean. For example, my husband comes home oftentimes very angry from work. And if I said to him, "Are you going to be an ass all night?" That would not go well. But I just say to him, I'm like, "You're grumpy, huh? Had a bad day at work. Okay. How long are you going to be grumpy for?" And then that's usually just enough to let him know that he's being grumpy. And that, and sometimes it's not. And sometimes, okay, fine, go be grumpy. I'll be over here, you go over there, go be grumpy. But a lot of times it's enough to just let him realize that he's being grumpy. Versus me being like, "So how long are you going to be an ass?" Which is just going to trigger a fight, right? It's going to set things off. So you can say things and just, again, choose your words, choose your tone, try to be understanding. We're going to be feeling it. Everybody else is going to be feeling it. It's supposed to be the happiest time of the year, right? So what the heck is all these planets got going on right now? So anyway, be very clear and precise with your communications. Don't be snappy. And if you have to, again, reach out to your support system, whatever that might look like for you. And, again, like if it's legal stuff, um, reach out to a lawyer, if contracts, things like that. Um, or even if you need help in the fact that, maybe you need to go talk to a counselor. Um, Sometimes just having someone to talk to will make a big difference. So just be aware that it could be challenging. I'm not saying this is going to be devastating, right? Depending on where your placements are and things like that, you might not be affected the same way as somebody else is going to be affected. Somebody else who is a very highly emotional person might be severely affected by this. But again, it depends on where all your placements are and how things are going to affect you. Like where your Mars is going to make a big difference. Where your Mercury is going to make a big difference on how it affects you. So I'm giving you the general information of this is what could be happening. These are the energies that could be going on around you. And these might be some helpful hints, hopefully, that might help you navigate through that a little bit. So, yeah. And again, I just wrote down like avoid going to those crazy places. We've all done it, no judgment. The whole conspiracy theory. And I'm not just talking about like politics and stuff like that. Like, oh, she did that on purpose. We know those people, right? Some people will do it on purpose, but, that's their issue to deal with. So try to just stay away from the whole conspiracy theory, the blaming others. Try to stay away from the self-blame. Do something that's going to help you stay centered. Do things that are going to help you stay grounded. Do things that's going to work out any kind of physical like tensions that might be coming up for you. Put your support team in place. Just again, you have to be honest with yourself. If you know you have these issues, like be honest about it. Like my two things are I cope with food and I cope with shopping. So, yeah. But if you need a support system, set that up. Just reach out to, these next few weeks might be a little challenging for me. Some stuff is going on. You don't have to get into detail. Some stuff is going on unless you want to. And if I need a friend, can you maybe hopefully try to be available to me over the next few weeks? Or find where your AA meetings are, or shopping anonymous. I don't know. Whatever it is. But I am being serious. Like if whatever you have going on, be prepared, right? Set up whatever it is you need to set up. And make sure that you've got the help that you need. You don't have to do it all by yourself. You can find people that will help you. And again, on the other side, if you're not somebody who falls into that category, fall into the support category. If you know you have a friend, family member who struggles with some things, let them reach out to them and let them know that you're there for them. Again, simple little thing. Send them a Christmas card. Bake them some cookies. Unless they're coping with food. Then don't bring cookies, but you guys get the point. So, all right. That was a lot, right? I just dumped a whole shit ton of stuff on you guys. So, avoid irritations as much as possible. Avoid getting angry as much as possible. Try not to be impulsive in this time, snappy, judgmental. And again, if it happens, we're human, and The big thing is we own it, we apologize, and, hopefully move on. But yeah, so really focus on what's going on around you, being patient and being open-minded. So, all right, I'm going to switch over to the tools part of the video. And the first thing I'm going to do is type in our affirmation. And again, I don't type it in there because I don't think you can write it down or that you're smart enough to write it down. It's that if you are listening and don't have pen and paper handy, you don't have to listen to the whole video to find it. I forgot where I was here. All right. I have clear focus and a centered. So we're going to keep saying that over the next couple of weeks, right? Washing our hair, doing the dishes, cooking supper, stirring the sugar in our coffee, driving down the road, whatever it is. I have clear focus and a centered perspective. We're going to say it until we believe it. Okay. All right. So moving on. The next thing I picked is the tarot card. And typically when we talk about Gemini, we talk about the Lover's card. That's the card that's generally associated with Gemini. But first of all, we've already done that. And second of all, I didn't really think that it fit in this situation. Besides, I guess you could say lovers are two sides and, they might argue or, they have to find balance. I suppose you could, use it in that way. But I picked the Magician. And again, I don't have the typical tarot deck here. But the reason I picked the Magician is because, one, like they're magical beings, right? They just magically seem to make things better. So, there's that part of it. The wonder, the mysterious part, the excitement of it all, the lure of it all. But the reason I really picked it is because the Magician is resourceful and they're logical and they are great with concentration, right? So to do the magic, you have to concentrate. So that's where we're pulling that energy in for, that resourcefulness, logic, and concentration. So all of those things are things that, basic concentration is another word for focus, right? So yeah, the Magician card. And again, these are great visuals. Like people say, what do you mean work with the card? It's a great visual to have. Whether you want to take a picture and put it on your phone, whether you want to make it your screensaver, whatever you want to do with it. Mine just sits right here on my desk. And so every day I see it. And it's a reminder, a visual reminder of this is the work we're doing right now. This is what I have to be focused on. This is what needs to be done. These are the energies that are going around. It's just that thing that I see and it triggers my brain to remember that this is what we're supposed to be doing. So, all right, moving over to archetypes. The one I picked, again, I talked a little bit earlier about the student is a really good archetype for Gemini. But the one I picked is the translator. And so the reason I picked the translator is, again, we've talked a lot here about things being challenging and around words and communication and how we say things and what we're doing, right? So the translator is someone who takes what you say and makes it so they understand, and vice versa. So we really want to work with that energy of what we say being translated into what this person can understand. So that's where I kind of talked about, was it this video or the last video I just did? I don't remember. Like learning how other people other people's communication styles. So The example I used was if there's some conflict, one person might go off by themselves. So maybe they're going off by themselves because they don't know how to start the conversation or have the conversation. So this is where you could step in and say, listen, I know you're struggling. What do you need me for? Where do we need to talk about? Or if you know what's going on, like you can talk, and initiate that for them. Or if they went off by themselves because they're a person that needs to gather their thoughts, calm themselves down, and then there's somebody that will come back to the conversation. And so then like, okay, I'm going to give her that time or him that time to just go do what they need to do and come back. So just kind of knowing how people communicate is very helpful. So again, the translator is just kind of the extra little bit of like taking what we're saying and making it so other people understand and vice versa. So we're going to work with that, that constant, like how to say this so that they understand, right? Like if you were talking to somebody that doesn't speak English, you would choose your words very wisely and very clearly. So again, that same energy is there, okay? All right, moving over to stones. The first one I picked is fluorite. Doesn't show very well here, but it's actually green, but for some reason it's coming up purple. So fluorite. Fluorite for this purpose is really good for focus and concentration. So again, keeping our focus on what's going on around us. The next one is some hematite. And we're going to use hematite for focus and memory. So remembering what's going on and being focused on it. All right. And then the last one is some shungite. It's kind of a flat piece here. Some shungite. And it's for understanding and clarity. So there's that. Now, with that being said, there are a bazillion different stones you could work with right now. You could work with some sodalite for your communication. You could work with calming stones, some blue lace agate to help stay calm. They're like, so figure out what it is that are your things that you need to work on. For me, I know I have trouble with my throat chakra. So I know I have problems with communication. So sodalite would be good for me. And I don't tend to get angry very often, but when I do, it's usually not real pretty. So some blue lace agate would be a good one for me to work with. So, figure out what you need to work on and what you need to help keep balanced and focused and all that, and work with those stones. And if you're not sure, you can always put it in the comments, always ask me, send me a private message, whatever, and I will help you. You can Google it, but use your intuition. All right, moving over to herbs/oils, because you can work with these either way. I'm just keeping an eye on the time here. You can work with those either way. If you have some of them in herbs, some of them in oils, all herbs, all oils, whatever, it doesn't matter. Working with them doesn't matter which form you use. So the first one I picked is peppermint. So peppermint is really good for focus and clearing brain fog. That's snow falling off the roof. So you could have peppermint tea. You could use peppermint oil. You can, there's all kinds of things you can do with peppermint. Again, make a bath, soak, foot soak, burn it as an incense, put it in a simmer pot. It's just like there's a bazillion things you could do with it. So peppermint is going to help keep focus and brain fog. So again, brain fog, like helping with brain fog, is just another way of like saying it's for clarity, right? So All right, so the next one is ginger. And again, ginger is a good one for a tea, but you can use it in all sorts of other ways. Um, Ginger is going to help boost your mental facilities. So just your brain, right? And rosemary. I don't know if I'd have rosemary tea, but I suppose if you mixed it with the ginger and the peppermint, like a little bit, it might not be too bad. Um, you can always mix in some honey as well to like make it sweet, because I always like my tea nice and sweet. But rosemary, so you can cook with it. Again, you can put it in your bath water. You can burn it in incense. You can put it in a simmer pot. You can use the oils. Possibilities are endless. So rosemary is for mental alertness. So just again, that keeping our brain going, keeping it all based on that focus and being alert and being aware and clarity and all of that. So we're really like on our A game for all these energies that are going around, right? So, all right, moving over to colors. So colors, the first one is yellow. So yellow is going to help keep us positive, right? Yellow is like the sun. We see the sun, we're happy. The sun makes us, just kind of energized and happy and positive. So yellow is a good way to work with that energy. Green is going to be good for symbolizing growth, right? And you're kind of like, well, how does that fit in, right? Well, with all of this that's going on, I did say way back at the beginning, there's a lesson here, right, for us. So at the end of all of this, we should come out better in some way, some shape, some form, somehow. So for our personal growth, right, we're going to work with that green color and keep reminding ourselves that, again, going back to yellow, that there's something positive that's coming out of this. So green, there's going to be some growth here. It's challenging. It's not going to be necessarily fun. It might be bumpy, but at the end of it all should be some growth for us. So, and then the last one I picked is blue. And blue again is calming. Um, calming. Um, Blue I love for so many reasons, and I won't go into all of them, but blue is calming, but it's also a color of kind of like freedom, but it's a color of expanding our mind as well. So I love blue. I could go on forever about all the different reasons I love blue, all the different symbolisms. But yeah, it's for the calming of it for right now. So what we're doing, what's going on, is helping keep us calm. So the next thing is our journal prompt. All right. So this one, again, might not seem like it necessarily goes when you first see it. What is going well in my life right now? You're like, how does that fit in? Well, everything's kind of going crazy, right? Let's focus on something positive. Let's focus on the things that are going well for us. Let's focus on the things that make us happy. Let's focus on people that make us happy. Your job is going well. Your relationship is going well. Whatever is going well in your life, and help us not to just keep focusing on maybe what's not going great. So not to say that we're going to forget about what's not going great. We're going to sweep it under the rug and not pay attention to it. That's not the point. But the point is to realize that there are good things that, are going on around us all the time as well. So what is going well in my life right now? So try to keep some positive stuff on there. So again, journal prompting, if you're not familiar with it, is giving yourself about 10 or 15 minutes, taking a piece of paper, pen, pencil, whatever, and just writing down whatever comes to mind. Don't worry about sentence, don't worry about paragraph, don't worry about spelling, don't worry if it's neat, whatever, and just what's going well in my life right now. All right. And you just start writing all the things down that you can think of that are good in your life. And they can be silly things if you want to, little things. My coffee was really good this morning. The lady at Dunkin' Donuts smiled at me. Whatever it is, that's can bring positive things that is going good in your life. Write it all down, and you maybe even hold on to it and kind of be like, over the next few weeks, like go back and look at it and be like, oh yeah, this is what's going on. Or maybe do it every day over these couple of weeks that might be challenging for us, right? Do your journal prompt every day, at the end of every day. Or if it's better, do it in the morning so that you head out the door with these are all the great things that are going for me right now. So again, that's knowing what's the best way for you. Is it better to do it in the morning so that you carry that with you through the day? Or is it good at the end of the day to kind of sit down and think about all the things that was good throughout the day, or good, you do you. So. All right. And the last little thing I want to talk about is deities. I've been trying to add that in there a little bit. And so the one I want to talk about a little bit, and honestly, I don't know a whole lot about him either. So I did a little bit of reading last night about him. His name is Ogma, Ogma. He was a member of the Tua De Danann. There's a whole thing I could go into there, but I don't have time. But if you're interested, you could Google it and start to learn maybe some of the basics about them. That's how I started learning about them. He invented the alphabet of the Celtic people, called the Ogma. And I don't know if I'm saying that correctly or not, but it's Ogham, Ogma. So he was kind of the deity, the god that was he has a whole story of what happened to him, and he was in famous battles and captured and enslaved and got free, and there's a whole story to him. But really, the reason I picked him was because he is the inventor of the language, of speech, of elegance and harmony in words and in learning. And so I felt like that was kind of an important thing to pull in here of when we're talking about our communication styles, and making sure that we're with all these emotions going on, not only are we processing them and feeling them and working through them and being aware of them, but that we're communicating them. So I thought that a deity that was kind of associated with speech and language and learning would be a good one to work with. So that's that is that. So that's going to pretty much wrap it up for this video. Again, I kind of went through it a little quicker than I normally would. Normally these videos are a little closer to an hour, but I do have an appointment coming at noontime, and right now it's 11:35, and I want to make sure I have time to go inside and go pee before he comes. So, but if you have any questions, anything, I kind of went through some stuff fast. If you have questions, comments, whatever, feel free to put them in the comments or send me a message, whatever you prefer. I don't have any preference. Just to say that if you put them in the comments, and it may help somebody else that has the same question. So that's the only reason. Otherwise than that, I really don't care. But all right, so I know this wasn't a super great positive video. I laid some pretty heavy stuff on you guys, but I really feel like you guys watching this are going to have an advantage over some other people, or, not necessarily my video, but somebody who's watching astrology, and paying attention to the energies is really that I told you. Um, I didn't make anything up here. It's all the energies. I'm just telling you what they are. Um, but yeah, like I said, somebody commented a while back that she really loved that I didn't sugarcoat things. um, and again, like, how is that going to really prepare you? How, if I just tell you everything's going to be rainbows and kitties and ice cream, is that really going to prepare you for what might be happening around you? So again, I don't say these things to freak you out. I say these things to help you be prepared. So, and again, always reach out to me if you're struggling. Again, I'm okay with being that support person. If you don't have anybody for that position, or if you do and you still want to reach out, I'm okay with that too. So if you're struggling, I'm always willing to chat. So all right, guys. So I will see you Monday for the weekly astrology forecast. So that'll be Monday morning at 10. And I do hope you have a good week. And, if you're somebody that these energies are not affecting super strong, then great, congratulations. It depends again. Like, I struggle with my throat chakra. So when Mercury comes around, it makes me nervous. I tend to get angry. So when Mars is involved, I tend to get nervous. But again, knowing the energy and having those visual reminders of this is what's going on, this is what's happening, and being able to take a deep breath and step back and, count to 10 or 100, and really, doing the best you can to be prepared and to handle things the best you can. And if you mess things up, like I said, we're human, and the big thing after is to own it and apologize to whoever or yourself and move forward. So, all right. I will see you guys next week. I hope something in this video was helpful for you. Was definitely not one of my most favorite videos to do for you guys. But yeah, lots of love, guys. Thanks for watching. Bye.